The conference brings together student financial aid agencies in the higher education community from various countries on the African continent to reflect and consult on key issues affecting financing of higher education through student loans in Africa, and to promote cooperation and collaboration, capacity building, and increasing bargaining power in their respective countries. Funding policies and the mobilization of funding resources are some of the key issues being discussed.
We don't have to congregate in one center to share knowledge. COVID has taught us that now we have online meetings that can actually be able to happen. So one of the areas that we are trying to sharpen up is how do we then share this knowledge, online, not necessarily even physically meeting like the way we are meeting here. Now the problem then comes in because you have got other players who are in these seminars, like for example, government permanent secretaries or principal secretaries in the ministries. We have the ministers themselves. Now the challenge is those are policy dialogues you require. It is very difficult for us to have those policy dialogues within, a technology platform.
The theme for this year's conference is the future of student funding and the sustainability of African higher education financing agencies. What are the opportunities post the COVID-19 pandemic? The debate on whether or not to prioritize some qualifications for NSFAS funding in order to address skills shortages in certain sectors also came up.
I think it's an important debate to have, in taking into account the context that what we implement as NSFAS is government policy, and government policy as it stands today is to fund virtually everyone who wants to access higher education. But I think the debate is around whether we should consider, given that we have limited funds but more demand, we should maybe not necessarily not fund other qualifications, but look at a mechanism to prioritize qualifications that are needed by the economy at this time.
NSFAS currently distributes around 43 billion rand in financial aid to qualifying students annually. However, officials say more students in the missing middle group could also be assisted if they received funding from the private sector as well.
There is really a gap for the people that are between the missing middle. Normally, we look at it between people roughly earning income of about 350,000, let's say, to about 600,000. Whilst they appear to be affording, they also struggle to access higher education. So the plea has been, let's look at whether or not there is a mechanism for these students to be assisted. And this is part of the work that the ministerial task team has looked at.
The AIFA Annual International Conference is aimed at gathering ideas and charting the way forward for improving higher education financing on the African continent. The conference ends on Friday. Corbin August, SABC News, Cape Town.